13 members of 2 militia groups who were preparing to kidnap and possibly kill me.
Coming up on KYOU News for You at 10, a plot to overthrow the Michigan government, foiled by the FBI.
I'm tracking the warmest day of the week as well as some breezy conditions heading towards your Friday. I've got an update in just a few minutes.
Plus, Heartland Humane Society has some tips to make sure your dogs are safe. These stories and more as KYOU News for You at 10 starts right now.
Live from Ottumwa, the news that's important to you. This is KYOU News for You at 10.
Good evening, I'm Eric Monaghan. Tonight, an alleged plot to kidnap, kill, and overthrow the government has been foiled in Michigan. Now several members of the militia group Wolverine Watchmen have been arrested, charged in an alleged violent and disturbing scheme to kidnap Governor Gretchen Whitmer. Steve Nannis has the details for our top story.
Several men are in custody after federal officials thwarted an alleged plot to kidnap Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer.
13 members of 2 militia groups who were preparing to kidnap and possibly kill me.
The FBI began an investigation earlier this year after becoming aware that through social media that a group of individuals was discussing the violent overthrow of certain government and law enforcement components.
That includes allegedly surveilling and monitoring Whitmer's movements and testing improvised explosive devices. Court documents also reveal an undercover FBI agent met with some of the suspects in June. In addition, State Attorney General Dana Nessel announced charges in a separate case against individuals allegedly linked to a militia group in the state.
The individuals in custody are suspected to have attempted to identify the home addresses of law enforcement officers in order to target them, made threats of violence intended to instigate a civil war, and engaged in planning and training for an operation to attack the Capitol building of Michigan and to kidnap government officials, including the governor of Michigan.
The federal charges against the suspects in the alleged plot to kidnap the governor carry a possible sentence of life in prison.
I knew this job would be hard, but I'll be honest, I never could have imagined anything like this.
I'm Steve Nannis reporting.
And here in Southeast Iowa, we've been experiencing a few warmer days. Let's see what we're in for on this weekend. Here's your first alert forecast with meteorologist Kaylee Plucher.
Staying dry throughout the overnight hours. Pinpoint Futurecast not going to be showing too much except for a wind shift as we head into the overnight hours tonight and heading into your Friday. It's going to be a strong southerly wind. That's going to bring in some warm air and fuel our warmest day of the week heading into your Friday. We've got to look at how high temperatures climb coming up in just a few minutes. Temperatures tonight, though, into the low 60s and even low 70s out near Omaha. Up to our north and west, we're seeing 50s and 60s as well. A big area of warm air continues across the majority of the Great Plains as well as into portions of the Midwest as we head into the overnight hours tonight. We are going to be dropping into the low 60s by midnight and 3 o'clock, upper 50s to start your day tomorrow, up to 64 at 9, and upper 70s as we head towards noon. Lots of sunshine for the most part overnight tonight. Winds are going to stay fairly light, but that's going to be pretty different as we head towards tomorrow. Tomorrow's breezy setup looks like this. We're going to bring in some strong southerly winds. That's going to bring in warmer temperatures and bring some of those breezy conditions. We have an hour by hour forecast on what you can expect for those wind speeds heading into tomorrow in just a few minutes.
And throughout the course of the entire COVID-19 pandemic, there have been plenty of stories about local people stepping up to help their community. That includes a woman right here in Ottumwa who's been handcrafting masks for others free of charge. Doris Witten, she is an 87-year-old Ottumwa resident who has spent most of the pandemic making masks for community members, including the Ottumwa Fire and Police Departments, staff members at City Hall, and Vista Woods Care Center. Witten has made well over 600 masks and refuses to take payments. However, even when people insist to give, the money goes right back into buying supplies for more masks. That's why Doris has this quarter's KYOU Spirit of the Community Award.
God gave me the talent to sew, and that's what I use my talent for. I think that's what everybody needs to look in their background and find something that they know how to do to help other people. And if everybody would do that, we would be in a much better shape than we are right now.
Congratulations again to Doris. She's an amazing woman and is a bright light in the Ottumwa community. And if you missed it, KCRG TV9 will host the first of 2 joint debates for the 2nd Congressional District, which covers Iowa City, Ottumwa, and the Quad Cities. Democrat Rita Hart and Republican Marionette Miller Meeks are campaigning for the open seat to replace Democrat Dave Losack, who is leaving after 7 terms. KYOU and our sister station KWQC in the Quad Cities are partnering on this debate. You can watch the debate on our website, KYOUTV.com, or our Facebook page. We'll also air the debate again on Saturday morning from 7:30 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. on our Fox channel. And a White House task force focus has told Iowa leaders that many of the deaths caused by the high level of virus spread were in fact preventable. The report was released to the media a day after Governor Kim Reynolds said Iowans shouldn't let the virus dominate their lives. Deaths have increased over the past 2 weeks to 10 per day. And on Capitol Hill, the battle over more COVID-19 relief wages on. On Wednesday, the Hawkeye State's senior senator Chuck Grassley weighed in. Grassley said he favors more relief for small businesses, but that the Democrats' $2.2 trillion plan is too expensive. Daniel Perot reports.
You get a little ways away from home, don't you?
Senator Chuck Grassley may not be on the ballot next month, but he's hitting the campaign trail for those who are. On Wednesday, he toured downtown Waverly with State Representative Ashley Hinson and Mayor Adam Hoffman.
Our businesses are creative and they're resilient, but they need our help too, and I think that's kind of the message we've been hearing from people.
The federal government in March shut down the economy. That was a bad thing, particularly for small business.
The senator wanted to know whether the current relief programs had helped. For Deb Mummelthai, the owner of Love and Lace, the PPP program has helped her weather the storm.
It made a difference. We're here. The door is still open.
It allowed her to keep all of her staff on payroll.
If we wouldn't have had that, I think it'd be a whole different boat right now. We'd be digging more out. But honestly, I felt it kept us afloat and smooth sailing.
Grassley says he supports more relief for those struggling, but says he's all for tackling them individually rather than in one giant package.
Now, why some of these things that we all agree on can't be passed separately, I don't understand. And they would go pretty easily as well.
Back at Love and Lace, they're staying positive.
We actually are doing very well. We've had a positive attitude in this store. We're trying to pull out the best in all of us, employees, customers, and our community, and say, we're going to make this.
And Hy-Vee is offering many more opportunities for testing COVID-19. According to company officials, it's expanding its free drive-through testing for COVID-19 at its pharmacy locations. More than 150 locations will be eligible. These include Hy-Vee Drugs in Ottumwa and Hy-Vee in Oskaloosa. Testing is available for any individual ages 3 and up, whether they're showing symptoms or not. Pre-registration is required online, including a questionnaire for available testing times on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. And if you're a dog owner, listen up. The Heartland Humane Society has some helpful tips to help make sure your dog is always safe. KYOU's Shelby Slaughter spent the day at the shelter learning the importance of microchipping.
Having that heart-stopping feeling that your dog is no longer in your backyard is a feeling many know all too well. And with the weather turning cold, it's important for all dog owners to make sure that their four-legged friends are safe. Manager Pam Ratliff of the Heartland Humane Society says ensuring your dogs are microchipped is a safe bet.
If there is a microchip, then we contact the microchip company, and they will then contact the owner, and then we'll just keep the dog until they come.
Ratliff says when an animal is found, they are held at the shelter for several days until they are claimed. And of course, if you need more time, the shelter will always work with the owner to get the dog back in their hands.
We've had animals come from Centerville that were strays, Albia, different, communities. So it's always important to always call the shelter first. We'll take your name and number, and if we do get the dog in, we can contact you.
Currently, the Heartland Humane Society has many dogs who are in search of their forever home after several hoarding situations and dumpings in the area. Shelby Slaughter, KYOU, News for You.
And if you're not a dog person, not to worry, the Heartland Humane Society has an abundance of cats and kittens available right now for best offer pricing. And next up, the latest updates on the next presidential debate. What the candidates are saying about this newest decision from the Debate Commission. You're watching KYOU, News for You, at 10.
Live from Ottumwa, you're watching News for You at 10. Available anytime on KYOUTV.com.
Welcome back. On the tail end of the vice presidential debate between Kamala Harris and Mike Pence, with plexiglass barriers separating the two, the next presidential debate is now scheduled to be virtual. President Trump today giving his first televised interview since being diagnosed with COVID-19, disagreeing with this decision. It has set off a rapid-fire back and forth over the remaining head-to-head matchups between the presidential candidates. Alice Barr has the latest from Washington.
And then they cut you off whenever they want.
In his first televised interview since testing positive for COVID-19, President Trump today refusing to participate in a virtual debate against Joe Biden next week. The debate commission announced today it was shifting to that format in the wake of the president's COVID diagnosis.
I'm not going to waste my time on a virtual debate.
You never know what's going to come out of his mouth. Who knows?
Now the two campaigns debating over the debate schedule, with the Trump team proposing a one-week pause, pushing the final matchup to the end of the month. Biden's campaign saying the president's erratic behavior does not allow him to rewrite the calendar. In a freewheeling interview with Fox Business News, President Trump also downplaying his illness that required 3 nights in the hospital, 2 rounds of supplemental oxygen, and a combination of experimental drugs.
I didn't even have to go in, frankly. I think it would have gone away by itself.
The president speculating on where he caught it, naming a Rose Garden ceremony for his Supreme Court nominee, but also seeming to blame an event with families of fallen soldiers.
They come within an inch of my face sometimes. They want to hug me and they want to kiss me. And they do. And frankly, I'm not telling them to back up.
President Trump also calling out and publicly pressuring his Attorney General, Bill Barr, to pursue criminal charges against President Obama, Joe Biden, and others he accuses of conspiring against him. Finally, the president weighing in on last night's debate between Vice President Mike Pence and Senator Kamala Harris, referring to the Democratic rival as a communist and a monster. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
And we have an update in the shooting of Breonna Taylor. A Louisville police SWAT officer says the warrant on Breonna Taylor should not have been served at the same time as others. 20-year veteran Lieutenant Dale Massey was overseeing 2 other warrants when an officer shot and killed Taylor while serving a warrant at her home. In a newly released video shot in May and released by the Louisville mayor, Lieutenant Massey told investigators that it's dangerous to serve multiple warrants at the same time.
Our priorities are people, right? So to us, we need to be briefed on everything, but at the same time, there's been some understanding in narcotics and in CID that we're not going to rush in to get dope. We're not going to treat human life more important than any dope, right? So with the times, our tactics have changed as well. So they should definitely let us know as far as what they're doing so we can provide assistance.
Massey says he didn't even know officers were at Taylor's house until he heard over the radio that shots had been fired there. He claims his team had told narcotics officers the investigation needed to slow down and that serving 8 warrants in one night was too risky. All those warrants were related to a drug investigation into Taylor's ex-boyfriend, who sometimes listed her address as his own. Massey says he suggested splitting the warrants up over the course of a few days. And the Gulf Coast is bracing for a powerful hurricane. Yet again, Hurricane Delta is aimed at southwestern Louisiana, in nearly the exact same spot that's still recovering from Hurricane Laura, which hit in August. The storm forecasted to impact the region Friday. Mandy Gaither has more on what's being done to get ready for another storm.
For the second time in 6 weeks.
Really, the word is disbelief. How could this be happening again?
The Gulf Coast has a bullseye on its back.
Everything is just kind of starting to get back to normal when this storm was coming our way.
Hurricane Delta barreling towards the same area of southwest Louisiana already devastated by Hurricane Laura in August. That storm destroyed more than 10,000 homes and damaged 35,000 others. In Lake Charles, many are still living without a roof.
It's just a lot. It's emotionally, I think everybody is just battered and worn down right now.
Those in the storm's path struggling to prepare as the National Hurricane Center forecasts dangerous winds and life-threatening storm surge as high as 11 feet.
So my wife was getting worried about the windows, so we're trying to get these windows, put some plywood on them, get them safe.
Evacuation orders and curfews have been issued for several areas near the Louisiana coast. Hurricane Delta slammed into Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula yesterday, set to hit the U.S. Friday, before it drenches areas much further inland in the following days. I'm Mandy Gaither reporting.
And ahead of Delta, the Mississippi governor declared a state of emergency, urging residents to, quote, prep for the worst. A hurricane warning has also been extended to Texas. The Lone Star State could see hurricane force winds. The hurricane is expected to hit Louisiana Friday afternoon. And coming up, as the holiday ramps up, what stores are preparing for and how they're trying to get you to buy. Plus,
temperatures out the door for your Friday into the mid-50s, but we're going to be climbing into the 80s as we head towards 1 o'clock. We've got to look at how high temperatures climb heading into your Friday, coming up in just a few minutes.
18. You're watching KYOU News for You at 10. And now, First Alert Weather.
Here's a look at what you need to know in your forecast coming up over the next couple of days. Still lots of sunshine, plenty of nice weather to get outside, not only for tomorrow, but through the weekend, and especially get outside and bottle up this nice weather before eventually we are going to be tracking a bit of a cool down as we head towards next week, just not as warm. Well above average temperatures, though, are going to continue through the weekend. We're tracking 80s all the way through. And again, if you weren't looking at the calendar, you wouldn't know it's October with these warm temperatures hanging around our area. Here's a look at tonight's setup as we are going to be having a cold front just north of our area. That's going to move through, but eventually that's going to shift our winds, at least for tonight and into tomorrow. Winds are going to be fairly strong from the south, but as we head into the weekend, we could see a bit of a wind shift moving into our area. Your forecast overnight tonight, temperatures drop to 58 degrees. Expect mostly clear skies. Winds are going to stay light from the southeast, anywhere between around 5 and 10 miles per hour. Quiet overnight, no weather worries, which means no weather worries out the door as you head towards your forecast. Tomorrow morning, doesn't even look like you really need a light jacket with temperatures sitting into the upper 50s. Heading into tomorrow afternoon, again, our warmest afternoon of this week, we're talking temperatures near 85 degrees. Keep in mind, this time of year, we normally track highs in the upper 60s, so this is well above average, feeling more like summer as we head towards the end of the week. But again, keep in mind, it is going to be breezy from the south. We're tracking lots of sunshine. Some of that sun may be filtered at times due to upper level wildfire smoke. Good news is no air quality issues from that, but may cause a bit of a haze in the sky as we head towards your Friday, so do keep that in mind. Here's a look at that wind gust forecast for tomorrow. Although not the gustiest day we've seen over the past couple of weeks, if you do work outside and wind impacts your job, then you may want to keep this in mind. Winds stay fairly light again through the morning. I would say probably through around 9 or 10, but I think once we get towards around mid-morning at 11 through the afternoon and early evening hours, winds could gust anywhere between 30 and 35 miles per hour. Again, this is coming from the south, so bringing a very warm breeze, so it's going to be feeling very much like summer with temperatures into the 80s and a strong south wind across our area. Keep in mind too, if you do work outside, plan to spend any time outside tomorrow, the UV index still at a 6, which is fairly high, and skin damage can happen still within 30 minutes. So although it's October, it's not summer, and you're spending time outside, make sure to still grab the hat, the sunglasses, or even the sunscreen if you're spending an extended period outside. Now, if you're not a fan of the 70s, 80s, above normal weather, we may have some good news coming in our long-range temperature outlook. This is from October 16th until the 22nd, where we've got a higher chance of seeing cooler than normal weather across our area, with that warmer weather staying out to our west. For that same exact time period, though, pretty much the same that we've been tracking over the past couple of weeks. A high percentage of seeing dry conditions across the area. And we're only tracking one small rain chance at least over the next 7 days across our area. Again, this is for the same time period all the way through October 22nd, where we've got that high chance of seeing drier than normal weather across our area. In the rest of the 7-day forecast, warm tomorrow and warm through the weekend. 85 your high on Friday, low 80s both Saturday and Sunday. We may see a bit more cloud cover Sunday, and heading into Sunday evening, that's going to make way for some rain chances as another frontal system passes through the area on Monday. Upper 60s Monday, low 70s next week. So still not as warm, but still above average, at least for our area. And temperatures overnight eventually dropping into the 40s as we head towards Monday and Tuesday night. Back to you.
And if you've been in a store recently, you may have seen the mix of fall and holiday decorations already on display. Well, it's by design. Retailers are hoping you buy early and often. The holidays could also provide a much-needed boost to the job market. Dan Shinneman reports.
Retailers preparing for the holiday season have more to think about than what's going to be on sale.
COVID clouds commerce. No matter how you look at it, it is making this holiday season incredibly uncertain.
What is certain, stores will be pushing everything from electronics to toys to fulfill those wish lists.
And so you have antsy consumers and aggressive retailers, and that mix creates more sales.
Online shopping is up 100% year over year and experts say e-commerce will be king.
Just as retailers always do, they're going to save the biggest deals for Cyber Weekend.
Big box and department stores are still grappling with how to handle traditional doorbusters. Industry experts say some may go digital.
I do think you will see a lot of digital doorbusters this year. Whether or not it's to limit store traffic, I couldn't say, but you will definitely see it this year more than any other year.
And like years past, retailers are hiring. Tens of thousands of seasonal jobs available, from in-store to warehouse work.
And it's not just Amazon. It's going to be other retailers that look at where their customers are, that will see more people in the role of temperature takers, mask enforcers, curbside pickup workers.
While holiday shopping may look different this year, consumers will be taking advantage of deep discounts that are already popping up in their inbox. Dan Sheneman, NBC News.
And Facebook announces yet another political ad policy ahead of the 2020 presidential election. The social media giant says it will stop running political ads in the U.S. after polls close on November 3rd. Facebook says it's in an effort to, quote, reduce opportunities for confusion or abuse. The temporary ban is expected to last 1 week. The move comes after Facebook announced that it would not allow new political ads to start running 7 days prior to the election, and that it will ban ads seeking to legitimize the outcome of the election. And McDonald's sales jumped nearly 5% in the third quarter as more customers ate Big Macs and McNuggets for dinner. The chain's U.S. comeback has been helped by its promotions and marketing. In September, it offered a deal on rapper Travis Scott's favorite meal. McDonald's says because of that promotion, it had the highest monthly same-store sales in nearly a decade. And while dinner sales are up, breakfast sales are down, and overall traffic remains negative. Coming up, we have the latest highlights from Thursday night's football's game. You're watching KYOU News for You at 10.
And now, KYOU Sports for You.
Welcome back. I'm Eric Monaghan. Tonight is Thursday Night Football. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are currently trailing the Chicago Bears 20-19. There's under a minute left in that game, and the Bucs are driving. And NASCAR legend Jimmy Johnson talks about his final year behind the wheel of the number 48 Hendrick Motorsports Chevrolet. The 7-time Cup champion said his performance this year wasn't what he had hoped for, but that he's excited about his team's future.
I had a bigger vision for myself performance-wise this year, so I am disappointed about that. But racing's tough, and it is such a team sport, and I think that many see the driver in the car and think it's more of an individual sport, but the team aspect really is everything. And we'll try to close out these final few races. That's where my focus is, and then to know that I still get to go racing and hold a wheel, next year, definitely relaxes me a little bit because I'm not ready to stop.
Well, you can catch all the highlights from this game coming up Sunday on the Charlotte Roval right here on NBC starting at 1:30 p.m. And the coronavirus outbreak and positive tests involving NFL players continue to force changes in the league's schedule. Earlier tonight, the NFL announced 2 game changes for Week 5. The Denver Broncos and New England Patriots games will move to Monday, October 12th at 5 p.m. on ESPN, and the Buffalo Bills at Tennessee Titans game will be played on Tuesday, October 13th at 7 p.m. on CBS. And should the Buffalo-Tennessee game be played on Tuesday night, the Week 6 Kansas City Chiefs at Buffalo Bills game, scheduled for Thursday night, October 15th, will be moved to later in the weekend. The NFL says the scheduling decisions were made to ensure the health and safety of players, coaches, and game day personnel, and in consultation with medical experts. And that is all we have for tonight. Thank you so much for joining us right here for KYOU News for You at 10. We'll see you right back here tomorrow. Until then, for news and the latest First Alert forecast 24 hours a day, check out our Facebook page, give us a like, follow us as well on Twitter, and visit our website, KYOUtv.com. You can find out all the latest news we got from around the area and national stuff, everything you need to know what's going on. Have a great night.